Yeah.
The board member must qualify for office by taking the following oath before assuming the duties of office. I state your name.
I, Casey Bristol,
Do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution and the laws of the United States
that I will support the Constitution and the laws of the United States,
and the state of Oregon and the policies of Creswell School District.
state of Oregon, and the policies of the Creswell School District.
During my term, I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of school board member to the best of my ability. During my term,
During the term,
I will faithfully and impartially
I will faithfully and impartially
discharge the duties of school board member
discharge the duties of school board member
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
You're in.
Thank you.
Welcome. Welcome back. I was like, I was thinking, I was so nervous the first.
That's a long.
That was a long sentence, big word.
Man.
All right, moving along.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
All right, all in favor? All right, motion carries. All right, next.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
All right, all in favor? All right. We're clicking along. Elise.
Okay, so with our presentation for May and June. A lot of stuff has happened over the past month. So we had the post-up blood drive and the hiring fair on the 8th of May. We had the Bulldog Market. We had Sources of Strength did a mental health awareness week. We had the Odyssey play that drama put on. We had our election week, Pep assembly and NHS induction. Baseball went to playoffs this year, at senior awards night, track and field day, prom. And so far in June, we've had senior college signing, band concert, graduation, spring awards night. And tomorrow we have a field day and Odyssey at school. So, kind of under the subcategory, our HOSA put on the blood drive. We had 20 participants, 6 first-time blood donors, and we got a total of 11 units of blood. And then for our NHS induction, we had 16 new members, which is a lot. I think last year we had 10, so we've got a lot this year. And then there's a picture in the band concert. Here's our play. It's the Odyssey, but mostly a comedy. So drama is not funded through the school, so Mr. Jones pays for all of the costumes, the props, and the goal every year is kind of just that the ticket prices cover like where he went negative. This year he spent over like $1,000 on all of this stuff, but with ticket funds this year, they made like a profit that will go towards next year, and they had 136 people in voting. So that's pretty good turnout.
It was mostly comedy.
Yeah, they make sure everyone knew it was mostly a copy. So for our sources of strength, mental health awareness week. On Monday, they did like a green out day where everyone was supposed to wear green. And then there was different coloring and like mental health worksheets throughout the week. The people who would turn in these or who would wear green would be entered in for drawings with gift cards to places like Fred Meyer, B. Hopper. There was, I think, like a couple $100 worth of gift cards, so that was pretty cool to see. Encourage people to participate. And then the Bulldog Market was on the 10th. We had, I think, 5 student entrepreneurs. There are things like crochet, baking, jewelry, flowers, that. And then based on like the class CTE program stuff, we brought on the Bulldog press code and printed shirts. And then the early child education class gave out coloring books, and then they also 3D printed fidget toys. And then for sports, baseball playoffs, they played, I think it's like Joseph / Enterprise / Balboa. It was like a lot, so I just put Balboa Valley, because that's what it said on third page, I think.
Sure.
It was the first time they made it to playoffs since 2009, and the first time winning a playoff game since 1984. They lost to Cascade Christian 4-10 second round.
It was a great game.
Yeah, I mean, they were what, like the number 2 seed,
Seed,
so
seed.
that was pretty impressive, I think. And then for track and field state, our girls track and field won the state title for 3A. Our girls 4x 400 meter won first place with Kyla Leonard, Journey Meyer, Brooke Molman, and Jordan Lee. For the girls 400 meter, Journey got second, Kylie Leonard got fourth, and then Jordan got fifth. For the girls 300 meter, Kylie got first. For the girls 200 meter, Journey got third. For the girls 100 meter, Mila got eighth. For girls long jump, Vika Gabriel got fifth and she got second in triple jump. For boys high jump, Mason Sharks got sixth, and then for boys discus, Caleb got seventh. I couldn't find his last name for some reason.
Library.
But that was a mouthful. Well, we did really well in track this year. And then, for our senior color signing, Kaylee Waller, Chantel Knopf Singer, and Brooke Molman signing to schools, Kaylee for softball, Chantel for wrestling, and Brooke for basketball. We had CHS election week. So we had, I don't know if anyone's told you guys about CSPN, but it's like our ESPN, and they did a live stream for like announcing the election results. It was like 2 hours long. It was pretty funny. I was on the way to a softball tournament in Idaho. We were like watching the live stream in the car. It was pretty great. And then our new student council for the next year, our AC president is Malachi Staten. Our vice president is Elizabeth Lewis. Our treasurer is Grant Sharps. Our ASB communications team is Riley Klein, Joel Van Zoren, and Jordan Meyer. Our freshman class president is Chloe Miller, sophomore, Izzy Treadhold, junior class president, Micaiah Geist, and then I'm the senior class president next year. And then for our public assembly, we did this like musical chair scavenger hunt thing. So on the slideshow, we would announce like an item or a category. Yeah, I was just talking about you guys.
Come on in, you're fine, come on in.
Something we did like this musical chair scavenger hunt. So we would like announce a category, and then the students playing in like the musical chairs game, they would get out of the chairs and would run up into the stands, and the students would like try and get on the item, and they would run back and get back in the chairs, and they would take out chairs every time. It was pretty great, it's pretty funny. And then we did a panel for the senior class president candidates with students. It was interesting. Some really not relevant questions that were asked. And then we, of course, gave out prom information too. And then here's some pictures from prom. It was from 8 to 11 p.m. at the Graduate, and the theme was euphoric. It was super cute. The Graduate was a super fun venue. Everyone loved the venue and the DJ. There was like a balcony, and there was like really pretty sunset in the background, so everyone was really excited about that one. So, really great night. And then others, just the hiring fair. We did a field trip to Connecticut County's hiring fair. I don't really have any more information on that. But that, and then for senior awards night, seniors were awarded with course awards, scholarships, and awards, and then there's some pictures from those are valedictorians and salutatorians, and then there's a picture. Then we have field day tomorrow. We have different activities. Ball field, flag football. We have like Sharks and Minnows game. We're doing like a slip and slide with some different like games with that. And then the courtyard, we have like face painting, yard games, with like different arts and crafts. In the gym, we have a 53 basketball tournament, like open gym. And then we have we are grilling hot dogs And we have to put on ice there. We're there to start bulletin board for like for the information and sign up each board. That's all. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Are you let us here?
Are you coming back next year?
I'll probably be at some of them, but Malachi will be in charge. Also, my.
Yeah, tell them to keep making them.
Yeah.
Gotta live up to my standards.
Yeah, and tell me, can you send me contact information for whoever made all those cupcakes?
What?
All the cupcakes for the bowling fair.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you, Elise.
Okay, that's great. So CSD end of year.
We can do that or we go with students.
Oh, let's do that. We'll do the students first.
Bring it to.
I don't know if there's- Is that on here?
No.
It's in my report, it's in the middle of my report.
Okay.
The girl, the team, you mean, so
Yeah.
you're saying, yeah.
Oh, in the CSC end of year report. Oh, well, that's right.
We wanna start with that slide and let them go, we can.
Yeah, let's do that.
You wanna do that?
Yes, please.
Okay, so Joel, you just have to flip through till you, I can say stop. Push the forward button, keep going, easy going. Close your eyes, just close your eyes, yeah. Surprise, surprise.
I've memorized all those steps.
Not quite, not quite, not quite, not quite. Okay, well, back one. There you go. So I probably don't need to repeat everything that Elise just said, but we do have the girls state track team here with us. I don't think that Chantel was able to make it tonight. She was our girl wrestler who won state this year. Super excited about that too. So Kylie Leonard is here. Sure didn't probably know, you're welcome to stand too. She is our 300 hurdles champ. And then she is also part of the 4x400 team, so that's one lap all the way around, each of them run one lap. And what you beat the state record by 5 seconds.
402 and yeah, 357.
Okay, so Kylie, Brooke, and Journey, and Jordan. Do a little wave, okay. And then, we also have Mila here, who was 8th in the 100 hurdles. And, Vika was 2nd, or sorry, excuse me, well, 2nd in the long jump, but then for the triple jump. Flip it, oh, did I do it backwards? My bad, okay, flip that, guys, sorry. 2nd in the triple jump, 5th in the long jump. So, yay, this is, state champs individually, but state champs as a team, and then also as a relay team, so first time in a very long time, and then Chantel's our first girl to ever be a state champ. So, congratulations, and coaches are here to support them as well. So, it was a warm track meet too.
The board has a certificate for each of you that we'd like to put you in. Ken, if we're gonna read that.
My job. Okay, in recognition of exemplary achievement and outstanding contributions to Creswell High School, this commendation honors your commitment to excellence, dedication, and positive impact on our school community. Your accomplishments reflect values of perseverance, integrity, and leadership, and serve as inspiration to others. With gratitude and pride, we celebrate your success and commend your efforts. So thank you, ladies.
Can I hand them to?
Absolutely, please do.
As much as these girls are up here, none of them like to be like. But so
I feel for you.
Yeah. So Journey, congratulations.
And way to go to our coaches too, because track meets are not short events. You have been out there for all days with all those kids, so thank you, thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Right, so with that, our meetings are super fun. You've heard all the time, right? You don't have to stay.
Thank
Even though you
Yeah.
just got here, you can leave.
Yeah.
And we really,
Thank
really
you.
excited for y'all. Good job.
Thanks for
Great job.
stopping by. Thank you.
Thank you.
Rachel.
Ciao, Kylie.
Alicia, you're hanging out with us?
Oh, also, you don't have to stay if you don't want to, but you can. And Amy Holly wants to talk to you.
Yes, yeah, that's, you're welcome. Whenever you're ready. I'd stay too.
All right, well, we're gonna just do a quick summary, and then of course, we'll come back in the fall and do a little bit deeper once we get our official data from our state assessments. But we've had a really successful year, in many areas, and so I'm just gonna highlight a few of those. Is this working? Diane, come here for this. Oh.
We got our microphone shoot thing too.
There we go. I know. I might start. So we started our official student leadership team this year, which was super successful. We had a few kids who didn't make it all year just because the time commitment and such wasn't their jam, not because they weren't leaders, but they were, but we had about 15 kids who participated, all fifth graders, and I probably could have had way more. This cohort of students in fifth grade are all leaders. Like, they're gonna be sitting in these chairs with fantastic kids. We created an official like leadership application process. We had yearly goals of tasks and activities that they would be a part of. And most of them completed about 20 hours of volunteer activities throughout the course of the year. So really proud of them for that. We continued the partnership with the Leadership Academy of Indy, and focused on our family dining event this year, which again was really successful and fun. We added another family night this year, which was our fifth grade science fair. And next year, I hope you guys come, you'll be blown away. I could not believe how great it was. It was just jaw open the whole time. The students do the wax museum in fourth grade, as you probably know. And then going into their fifth grade year, they kind of get the idea of presenting and they just take it and run with it. And some of the exhibits that the kids brought were fantastic and over the top. And even the ones that didn't have a lot of support from home worked really hard here at school and were able to put together some really cool displays for families to come and look at. We continue to find as many possible ways as possible in our school for those writing listings to be valuable for kids. It's our token economy, and this year we had our leadership team that also provided a lot of insight and help. So we did make a Miss Hallie drawings, which was really fun, and a few other added things. And then we did our second move up day, where we have all of our kids go to the next grade level teachers. We did this on Monday so that they can get to meet their new teachers. They go to all the teachers. And it's also a good way for us to kind of see some different groupings of kids ahead of next fall to see if there's some changes that need to be made before then. So sneakily, we're also checking out some combinations there. But it was really positive. Kids loved it. We're making connections with the staff for next year. In the area of construction, we did add IRC support to fourth grade this year. It may not be sustainable long-term, only because the amount of volunteers it takes to run the IRC program, but this year we were fortunate enough to have a couple volunteers who were really passionate about the older kids as well. We have kids that are in the fourth and fifth grade who still are not readers. And this year in particular, we have a lot of students who were really low. And also a lot of kids who are still trickling in from homeschool in the pandemic. And so there were some pretty impacted kids, and with their help, we were able to provide them with some small group instruction. We developed standards of practice K-5 for all of our curriculum areas. And what that means is that we have some rules that all of our teachers basically created together of what, if I walk into a classroom during science, this is what all of the science classrooms should look like. If I go into a classroom during reading, these are the things that we should see. And that was developed by the teachers together this year, which is pretty great because, you know, we all, as a classroom teacher, you assume everyone's doing all the things, and sometimes it's not happening. And so it was good for them to kind of develop that as a team. And then, as you know, we were a part of the Oregon RTI Focus program this year. They focused on tier 2 and tier 3. So we implemented some additional assessments this year, which was really helpful for our teachers to be able to target instruction even more. And then, of course, we continue to work on, all that with our PLCs. We, this is our first full year of the tag program that we revitalized. And we identified 22 students this year, with tag. And we have 61 students that we were having to watch, monitor stage right now. We're not quite ready to commit them to being fully identified as tag, but they're definitely making their way there. So pretty excited about that. Here's our overall reading and math data for our school. So I know it's itty bitty, but you can see the percentage. The bottom bar is our fall graph, and the top bigger one is the spring we just took. Underneath that, you can see the number of students that went from. So in the area of reading, we went from 41 students that are 3 or more grade levels below to 30 as a school. And then on the other end, we had, I think it says 55 students that were mid or above grade level, and we ended the year with 192 total students above grade level. So some pretty big jumps in growth across the board in reading and in math as well. We saw a lot of growth in math. Of course, we just recently implemented our Reveal math curriculum, and teachers are continuing to see a lot of progress with students coming in with more knowledge and skills than they've had in the past. But wait, there's one. So here's individual grade level data, basically the exact same thing that you just saw, but in reading by grade. So you can see in kindergarten, we went from 12% of students on and above grade level, all the way up to 97% of students. There's just a few kids who are not on grade level, and they are students who have joined us just a couple months ago and were significantly impacted by disability. So pretty proud of the growth our team continues to make. And across the board, as they get older, it does become a little harder to move the dial for them because a lot of the students that are behind are really behind. So our SPED team has been working really hard with our other specialists with regards to the data that we've been collecting this year and targeting instruction a little bit differently. We spent a lot of time this spring looking more at individual kid data than classroom or grade level data, because I think in the fall last year, I'm pretty sure I talked to you guys about this as well, but we had, I think 35, 40 new students move into our school, and of those students, all of them, the 3 tested in the red zone. So they came in super low, which felt a little defeating because a whole lot of data is impacted by that. But we even looked at all of their data. Students, there's only 2. The red, the rest of them moved to the yellow and the green zones. So they've received a lot of intervention this year. And then here's for math. I won't read all the numbers to you, but you can see the colors shifting. Our 3rd grade students, in general, that cohort is pretty impacted with behavior. And in the fall, our 3rd grade teachers had to spend a lot of time on routines and procedures and just expectations. So instruction took a while to get started, but they have really started to grow a lot, actually. Several students, there's a lot of individual kid successes in that grade level in particular. So a couple of the specific highlights: 69% of our 1st graders are on or above grade level in reading. Again, 97% of our seconders ended the year on or above. This is our 2nd year in a row, which feels really great. That's not common, but we're feeling really good about that. 61% of our students met their growth goal in iReady, and 32% met their stretch growth. And stretch growth is ambitious growth, basically. It's what we would expect them to grow if they're receiving a lot of intervention and support. And so of the students, not everybody would meet their growth goal, but when we look at the students in intervention, several of them did meet their stretch growth goal. We have 26 students in our school who have an overall placement at least 1 grade level above in reading and or math. So we have a 4th grader who is at a 7th grade level in reading. We have a 5th grader who is at an 8th grade level in both reading and math. So 26 total students who are performing the entire grade level above, which is a good problem to have. And we attribute that to a lot of our focus on the tag students we've been able to identify this year. 53% of our students met their growth goal and 24 met it in math. The stretch goal, growth goal in math. So what's next? This is not a complete list, just because, you know, after the kids and staff leave is when Summer and I really start getting the plans in place for the fall. But we'll continue to work with RTI on tier 2 and tier 3 reading supports. We are making an adjustment to our SPED model next year because of the changing needs of students. We will be having 2 behavior classrooms and 1 academically focused SPED classroom. It used to be 1 behavior and 2 academics, but our needs have drastically shifted. So we're hoping to better support students and classrooms with that model. We, of course, will be implementing our new health curriculum and science and SEL. So thank you very much for your approval of that. And then this year, both Julie Johansson and I are putting out a summer iReady challenge to our students to encourage them to complete 10 lessons in reading and in math on iReady over the summer. And then they'll get a prize if they bring their sheet back. So we're hoping that that'll encourage them to keep up on some of their skills. And then our summer school program this year is targeting intervention students because we needed to cut back the number of students that we were able to serve. We thought we'd get the most big far left, and we invited families of kids who are receiving interventions, and they'll continue that intervention program into the summer. So that's all I have. Any questions for me?
So it showed in the data, there's like 50 kids between the grade levels that are still in the red hashtag,
Just what I'm looking at.
reading or math. Do we seriously talk about holding those kids back, or do we send them on and let them be even farther behind?
Well, research shows, there's a lot of research on this area. Really, there's only a positive impact of retention in the earlier grades for first and kindergarten. After that, the data actually has a lot more negative impacts on students. So some of those children have a learning disability, so we don't really anticipate they're ever gonna necessarily be with their peers, but we're tracking those students individually on their growth. So if they're in the red and they're not making growth, then we are probably looking down the road of SPED identification. More so than retention, because retention is not just academics, it's also like social maturity, their behavior, their attendance. A lot goes into it when we have our retention.
Okay, thank you.
Good question though. Any other questions? Okay.
And I didn't mean to highlight only the kids. The
Yeah.
fact that so many went to green by the time you're looking at the spring, that really is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I
No
could
teachers are
present
sorry.
to like the reports that show the students, so you can see there's kids who've made huge jumps. Which is,
Yeah.
feels really great, but obviously can't put that up.
Yeah, yeah, I just have my own little, like my anecdotal observing through IRC in
Yeah.
kindergarten, and you can just see if, I can remember how it feels when they start and you're sounding out letters. And then there's this moment sometime in the spring where I'm like, they just read the whole sentence.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing to observe.
It starts clicking.
Yeah. Yeah, very cool.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amy.
Good luck tonight.
Julie.
Okay, I'm gonna do my best with part of a voice, and I apologize.
If I could speak to her as well.
And it's hard for me to see what slide we're on, so I'm just gonna be like reading the information. If you have questions at the end, let me know.
Hi.
So for our highlights, as far as differentiation and rigor, we continue to do the iReady benchmarking 3 times a year, as well as the iReady individualized lessons. We have continued improvements in our tiered supports. We have professional learning for our teachers as well as our classified staff, ongoing grade level and content area PLCs, tag identification, IEP and ELD meetings, college and career connections for CIS, Career Day, HOSA, FBLA, and electives. We did a digital citizenship program this year, And we continue to add to our WIN program, which aligns with the elementary school as well as the high school. And then under climate, culture, and community, we continue to try to make school fun with spirit days and rallies and school-wide activities and awards. Give students the opportunity to have leadership through student council, FBLA, and HOSA. Our parent engagement through conferences and SST and site council, eighth grade parent committee, sending home information via Parent Square and our newsletter. We do welcome day, transition day, and incoming sixth grade parent night to ease some of that transition between Creswell to us. We continue to provide equitable disciplinary admin responses, and then we continue our sources of strength. As far as some highlights on the next slide for student achievement data, this is based on the iReady. Mid or above grade level scores in math went from 13 students in the fall to 34 students in the spring. In math, 86 students started the year 2 or more years behind, and in the spring, only 51 students scored 2 or more behind. In reading, 89 students started the year 2 or more years behind, and in the spring, 58 scored in the same level. Some of those students increasing 2 or more years than less than a year's time, and that's what you want to see at the middle and upper level, or they will never get to grade level standards. 54% of students met their growth goal, and 27% met their stretch growth goal in reading. And that is higher than the national average on that. 54% of students met their growth goal, and 20% met their stretch growth goal in math. And so on the next slide, looking at school-wide fall to spring data, the top is overall iReady reading scores. And some highlights, 38% grew to 52% at or above grade level by the end of the year. And our biggest areas of growth were the students in the mid above grade level. 16 students increased, and 3 or more below grade level, 21 students moved out of that level. And then in math, 22% grew to 41% of students on or above grade level in green by the end of the year. And our biggest areas of growth were the students in mid above grade level, 21 students increased, and 3 more grade levels behind, 21 students moved out of that level. So looking at the next slide, this is by grade level. And so we can see the sixth grade data, both for math and reading between the fall and the spring, and there was lots of improvement. We also have seventh grade data on the next slide. Sorry, I feel like I'm going to lose my voice any second. And then eighth grade data as well. So lots of growth across school-wide. The next slide is on attendance. I wanted to point out that as of 6/3, our attendance had improved for the year as well. So I show all the way back to 22-23. We know that statewide attendance continues to be an issue since COVID, but we continue to make small gains at that. We had 80% of students qualify as regular attenders, and our average daily attendance was 92.61%, which is really great for middle school. So what's next at our school? We're going to continue to offer more targeted courses. We're going to expand our course offerings for students needing enrichment and intervention. We also created a parent-student survey to have more parent and student voice in the schedule and offerings and what parents would like to see their students doing as well as students. We're going to streamline our program expectations further, as well as our student study team process. We're going to implement the new adopted health curriculum and further implement the adopted science curriculum. We're going to continue our data-driven decision-making, as well as using our iReady data and state assessment data to monitor progress. We'll continue our K-12 collaboration. And something I really pride our school in doing is often with budget cuts, some of the things that you see go, especially at the middle level are the accelerated opportunities. And we've created a schedule for next year that allows us to continue to provide those accelerations for students who need honors or accelerated math. We are partnering with Creswell, and we're both doing the Summer iReady Challenge and district-wide doing the targeted summer school program. And that's all for CMS.
Feel better. Good
Thank
job.
you.
Thank you, Julie. See, wait, you need to try to this.
Okay, so Creswell High School, I think I say this every year because it is truly amazing, our staff, the way that, being such a small staff, we're able to leverage all of their skills and their talents and being able to provide so many dual credit opportunities that we actually have to stagger some of them every other year. So this is what was offered this year. Usually calculus and statistics, staggered calculus 1 year, statistics 1 year, advanced chemistry general versus advanced chemistry for healthcare fields, anatomy and physiology versus AP biology. So kids have the opportunity to get those credits in the time that they're at the high school. But for this year, you can see at the bottom, we were able to award just in-house with the dual credit opportunities that our teachers offer. 1,182 total dual credits to kids.
That's amazing.
So, and then that doesn't include those that are doing early college. We had 7 kids that took at least 1 class early college, and we're able to get those by attending classes at LCC online, most of them. So this is just an amazing statistic that we're able to give our kids. So, and we really talk about credits with purpose, because as we've talked about, when you are awarded the Oregon Promise grant, that's 90 credits, and anything you take in high school ticks off those 90 credits. So you might only have 86 or 80 by the time you leave high school. So if you really know that you are going to be going to be a math teacher and you took a health class that could offer dual credit opportunities, if that's not the direction you're going, we really talk to students and families about not taking that for dual credit. That way you're not wasting your free college credit opportunities on classes that aren't going to support your goal. So we do that through. So there are kids that took dual credit classes too, that then just opted not to take those credits because it doesn't benefit them for their future. It actually hinders their ability to use the Oregon Promise in the way that supports their goals. I'm not gonna talk about each of these, but the next 3 pages are just the amazing things that staff and Angela, who's our college and career specialist, put on. I just wanted to point out that we took 42 juniors and seniors, that's the one in bold, to attend the PNACAC, Pacific Northwest Accreditation of Colleges, at the college fair at the University of Oregon. So 42 students went, and we know that sometimes kids just sign up because maybe they didn't want to be in biology that day. I don't know. But what's funny is when they go, what they actually take away, what they didn't think they were going to learn, that they learn when they go to an opportunity like this. So that's pretty amazing to take 42 students just to step foot on a college campus and to see what that looks like and what their possibilities are. In addition to the other opportunities that were offered there. 15 students who attended the Elevate manufacturing tour. So on this page, I just want to point out, in addition to the other things that we did, that we started offering 2 financial aid nights. One, we learned that when we just had one, the families really struggled to kind of get the pre-work done for getting their FAFSA filled out. They maybe hadn't gotten their parents sign in, and then you have to get a student sign in, and those are separate, and the parent is a student, and it's just a big tangled mess that is hard to navigate. And FAFSA this year had changed how they did that, and so then that really affected people. So this year we offered 2 nights. One, just come, and before FAFSA opens, we're gonna make sure that you get logged in, get signed in, get everything you need So then when you come back the second night, actually fill out the form because you'll have your IDs and all of the information you need as parents and kids to get logged in and do that. So, in doing so, you'll see in the middle section there, that we had students that came and attended that night, but then Angela met individually with many, many families. And so the state completion rate for the FAFSA at the end of May was 43%, and our completion rate for the FAFSA was 65%. So we were really able to help families move, in that direction to help kids see what the possibilities. So. On this page, LCC CTE signing day. So with the progress of our CTE programs, we actually took 7 seniors to sign for LCC. And on that day, they were able to meet with their advisors, look at their programs, and pick their college classes for the fall. LCC at this point now schedules out for a full year in many of their courses. So they were able to pick their schedule for the whole year and get that finished before they started. And then so the top one that I didn't highlight, the 5-1-25 Josh from Roseboro. We haven't come up with a clever name for it, but there is the new 0.5 credit for the HECPS, Higher Education Career Pathways credit, that all schools have to have on transcripts by the 2027 graduating year. One of the pieces that we do in there, starting their freshman year, is building their portfolio in their Google Drive that they can take with them. So cover letter, resume, just keeping track of all the events and opportunities and things that they participated in high school. And so Josh from Roseboro came and worked with our students who signed up to work with him one-on-one to help prep their resumes from an industry perspective. And then those kids were then able to take that to the Elevate Lake County. So 30 juniors and seniors took their resumes, got to speak with people in the business, got feedback on their resumes, and got to do mock interviews. So I think that's pretty awesome, and that's coming out of our new HECPS. In addition to these 7 CTE kids who went to Lane, 20 seniors who went or plan on attending Lane also got to go and meet with advisors and sign up. So 27 kids total from this graduating class that got to go and just get set up for their classes at Lane next year. All right, so we started the year with 74 seniors, and of the 68 who finished the year with us, all 68 of them received their diplomas. 2 students did elect mid-year to transition to GED programs. And that's always a bummer. We'd love to be able to keep them, but for family reasons and things that were going on in their lives, that was a choice they and their families elected to make. 2 students enrolled with us late in the year and did not maintain attendance. They came to us from other districts, deficient in credits, and one had not been in school since COVID, and just they did not maintain, and they have not gotten enrolled in another program. Both of them are seniors, met with families, talked about LCC in regards to the GED program or finishing an on-campus high school diploma program through LCC. And then we have 2 students who will continue to be served with us. We right now have 2 kiddos at the they're in our district, but at the high school, who will receive alternative certificates of attendance. They count in our numbers, so they're part of that 74, but we never get to count them in our diploma requirements. And so their needs dictate that they will earn certificates of attendance, but they won't show in our numbers. So that's part 2 that will continue to serve until they decide not to or age out. So of those that we got to serve from beginning to end, 100% of them graduated and walked across the very warm stage this last weekend. And then 91.89% overall for the students. And that includes those that are finishing with us, but that don't count in our diploma numbers. For the rest of the grade levels, freshmen on track are at 93, almost 94% on track at the end of their freshman year. We don't have that last quarter data yet, but looked at 3rd quarter data and then went through, and those that we are concerned about, we look at what their coursework looks like to date, and we're able to come up with those numbers. So sophomores are at 90% on track, juniors are at 96% on track. We had 5 seniors take the SAT and score between a 60 and 1200 with an average score of 1034. And then our juniors, 830 to 1330 on the SAT with an average score of 1076.
Are we worried about that sophomore class? That number 90, you see was lower than what we've seen, or is it just the mix of the class?
It's the mix of the class, and there's some nuggets in there who are working on it, and they will be invited to summer school. So for the class of 25 that just graduated, we, for the last few years, have kind of been trying to keep track of what they're gonna do, and we do have specific information about where each student is going and what they're gonna do, but we have 20 students who will be attending a 2-year college, 18 will be attending a 4-year college. We counted trade school, so some of the 10 are also going to a 2-year, but they identified as being in a trade school versus going for maybe a 2-year degree. So 10 who are attending a trade school, which could be LCC or one of the welding certs, 13 who are entering the workforce, and 7 who just haven't really decided what they want to do yet. So we'll go back to your sophomores. So this year, we also are doing a targeted summer school, so we have reached out to all of the students who reviewed all of the transcripts of the kids who are behind and identifying those classes that they can take that would help those core classes to start with, that would help them be back on track for next year. It is only for credit recovery this year. We don't have the fun classes that we offered last year. So doing more of a credit recovery. We did our first round of reaching out to families in April, did a second round in May, did specific emails to families in May, one-on-one conversations, and then we'll do another targeted reach after this term's grades come out next week.
Are you finding they're pretty receptive to summer school?
Define they, their parents or the kids, not so much. There's a few kids, I was really surprised because I have some that came in a little bit later. We have a couple homeschool kiddos that came in and just not everything they took were we able to transcript.
Sure.
And they really want to be on track. So we do have some that, yes, this is what I want to do, this is what I'd like to accomplish. We have some that are sophomores going to be juniors that recognize their, like, you're the rubber meets the road sort of space and want to work to get that made up. So yeah, we do have some. I would say, I think we have 13 signed up right now, and of those 13, 7 of them, I just had individual conversations with students in talking with their parents. Like, this is what I'm going to explain to your parents. I want you to see what it looks like on paper, so that way, when they talk to you about why you're in summer school, this is why I invited you. What do you think about that? Oh, yeah, I think that, yes, I would like to do that. So, yeah.
This is actually probably more for Mike. I noticed that on our personnel report for summer school, there's only 1 high school teacher. There's significantly more than the others. Does that have to do with, like, we didn't get the same grants for summer school, or the state stopped funding in the same way? I know that was changing post-COVID.
Because of the, we cut back on the funding that we have. Cut back on funding from the state,
Right.
so we didn't have the funding
Right.
that we've had the past 4 years, plus ESSER ran out last year.
Right.
And that was our last summer using ESSER funds.
Okay.
So, but, that's what we have there is a need for the number of students that would be in the credit recovery. We need to make sure that they get that.
So is this where we're gonna be using the charter or the software that we purchased?
Online,
The
we
online?
haven't purchased.
Oh.
We'll be using Accelis
Okay.
to do this. The nice thing about Accelis is it's also, instructor driven, it's recorded instructor sessions that come from Accelis. But let's say we have a kid that sat through algebra, we recognize that they probably have the skills, just didn't do what they needed to do.
Mhm.
We can use Accelis for proficiency based grading, and so we can bump them to the first test. If they pass that, we say, great, let's take the second unit test. If they pass that, great, take the third unit test. Oh, we struggled there. All right, let's go back and do those lessons.
So it can be more self-paced. It doesn't have to be.
And then the teacher can can work with those kids one-on-one to do that as they're able to move forward or get stuff.
So is that what we see that teacher doing this year? Unlike it looks like middle school must have a different format. That teacher is really gonna be there to manage and monitor the kids who are taking these sales classes.
Yeah, and we did that last year too. Last year when we had more funding, we were able to offer more hands-on classes. And in each section we had two-hour blocks, like an 8 to 10 and then a 10 to 12. And in each of those sections, we always offered just a syllabus for those kids who wanted to take the credit recovery classes that we weren't able to offer. So the concept isn't entirely new, it's just now the only option, yeah.
Jenny, how many weeks is the summer school?
July 7th through July 24th. So it ends up being 3 weeks.
So there's like a good amount of curriculum that you guys can be covered in that if they're.
Yeah.
That's.
And then the sellers, they can move as fast as they want. So the hope is they can get at least a half, if not full credit made up. And in some cases, kids like, I'm gonna get on this and I'm just gonna work at home too. And could do more. So they really get to drive at their own pace.
Thank you.
So we already kind of talked about sports this year, but we had coaches of the year, Dan Smathers for girls soccer, Brittany Whitmore boys soccer, Kevin Weiss for baseball.
And Scott Worsham for girls softball.
Did not. Put it down lower.
Let's see.
Let's get that added. And then, I'll let you read up, go through all the names. But first team all league, we have an amazing number of kids who are first team all league. League players of the year. Which is awesome. And then, we talked a little bit about this when the girls were here, but, teams also qualified for state playoffs. And then our state champions. Thank you, pictures.
Those are great pictures.
That was fun.
Good.
Yeah. It's really fun. So next year, Dr. Toei will be stepping in, we'll be leaving him notes, for where we are. The alignment for the HECPS class, again, we just haven't come up with a better name, we call it hiccup. So that's what it kind of sounds like at this point. So we'll be using Wayfinder to meet those standards. We choose to do that on a rollout basis every year. So every Wednesday from freshman into their senior year, they'll be working towards that 0.5 credit that they need for their graduation requirements. We really felt like as a staff, that spiraling of all the things they need versus just one course that they take their senior year, because they're gonna need to know how to do cover letters and resumes. They might want a job in high school. They're gonna need to know how to write those college applications and to present themselves before they get to their junior and senior year. And so if you lump all of that into one course their senior year, they're missing out on using and learning and practicing those skills for the rest of the time that they're in high school. So that's how we'll hiccup through the 4 years at Creswell High School. The big thing, our student leadership, as Elise has presented, does an amazing job. Liz Babs teaches our leadership class in the fall and in the spring. And they put together some amazing things. One of the things that came from Student Voice was being able to have more representation, more student representation on school culture and climate issues. And so this year we started homeroom representatives in regards to school culture and climate, and we brought them together starting in April, and they will continue to be the voice for their advisory classes, their WIN classes, and those kids stay together all 4 years with the same teacher. They could choose to elect after next year, 2 new representatives. But they are in addition to our student leadership, so they will work with student leadership, but also have the opportunity to work with the principal or assistant principal in regards to school culture and climate. And then SCL curriculum through Sources of Strength and Wayfinder. Sources of Strength really took off this year. It was our second year, and those kids are super excited. They planned the whole week this year around mental health, which was awesome. And we'll continue to do that. So
Thank you.
I want to thank you, Jane, for the work that you've done at high school. You did put the torch when we were coming into COVID. And that was a rough start for all of us, but pulling the school through, getting the graduation rates up after a tough fall, getting those kids in there after COVID. Every year, bringing those graduation rates up, increasing the CTE programs, doubling the offerings there, increasing the credits kids get going to college and prepare for college. A lot of highlights, a lot of achievements there, some that other schools in the state will never see. Graduation rates being the one, I think.
For all our principals, for sure.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Penny. Next order of business would be our superintendent.
Sure, so, long list of activities there for the month, in the first week of June. And, one, item that we've accomplished or, with the, bond projects, and that is the new softball path that's coming off of the parking lot going around the track to the softball field. And, we'll continue to work on that and build that into part of the park trail out there for our cross country team. Highlights, graduation, of course, the highlight of the entire K-12 program is to get there. And it's always a pleasure to be there with kids when they do finish it up. The meeting with the staff there to talk more about the academic building improvements that we're headed into, that the work that's going on there. The North Eugene High School tour. So the architect that's working on those improvements for that building, myself and Joel went to North Eugene High School to see what is in a current building that costs $160 million. And with the idea that we've been given from staff and students over there at the high school, how can we incorporate or upgrade this building with those new concepts that are coming in, those $170 to $220 million buildings?
The fifth graders are here. They're so excited. I don't know if you know.
So, so we picked up quite a few new ideas out of that school. One of the things of interest that we were really looking at was when you look at the counseling center and look at and all the action that goes around the counseling center, the administrative officers and what goes on in the administrative offices, the one to keep that confidential from what going on over here when families and kids are coming in to work with counselors. How do they, in this new building, how did they approach that? And I've been in the building, we're all in one office, and it's not easy to manage things that way as an administrator. And I wanted to see, I was curious to see how they manage that. And they do have separate locations for both. They got the administrative offices in the front office and then a counseling center that is away from that area. And so looking to create something like that, and the research behind that is very significant on and common sense will tell you that's the way it should be. And so anyway, other things that we looked at there, the courtyard and how their courtyard is set up with, you know, the landscape and where it's usable for kids year round. And there's common places to meet and hang out, and some study areas inside the buildings and how they set those up. And so we brought all those notes back, and we'll be sharing those out with the staff as we move into the next phase or stage of the improvements over there. And we made a few hires, significant hires for the high school. So, any questions on anything you saw there, anything stick out that you want me to talk about? Okay.
All right. So we have no public comment tonight? All right, fine. Unfinished business? But action item? We can't decide them, so. Okay,
I move to approve or adopt our new health curriculum.
I second.
all right, and did we have any discussion regarding that? I know that we all had, well, I don't know if everybody had an opportunity to look at the curriculum. I did, I was able to look at it, and I know Candace was. I have to say that I appreciated it. I mean, after looking at it, I feel much more confident in going forward with it as well. I didn't know if everybody else had an opportunity to look at it.
Yeah, I feel more comfortable as well, like voting on it now that we've seen it, so pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I have one question. I think you said this last week. Are there any online resources that are different than the book? So like, would our kids be sent anything? Are there any online resources and are they different?
Well, Paul could probably speak a little better to that, but kids get to research during health, so there will be online resources that they get to research. That are part of some of the assignments that are put out there. We also adopted Wayfinder, which we'll use for hiccup.
Okay.
But there's also social emotional in there that is also a state standard, but complements what's going on in the book. But as far as bringing in outside resources, only those that are part of like the Division 22 standards and Aaron's Law, Addie's Act, some of the things that we're expected to cover and the laws that are associated with those.
Yeah, so this, I brought this for you guys, at the top part of the bullet points was on the slide before. I just added in below that specific standards from ODE. And if you look at them, most of them are actionable. Discuss this, analyze that, demonstrate this, identify that. And so we don't stray from those. If it says do A, that's what we do. And so, yeah, students obviously access information that's out there for the CDC or any.
I mean, we all know the situation. I think I'm trying to reference without referencing that happened in another school district this summer. That there was lessons available to the teacher to send out that weren't in the book potentially. So I'm trying to ensure we don't have that same issue. Okay.
No, all of our lessons are built directly off the standards.
Okay, you know what I'm talking about, right? Jen?
Yeah.
Okay.
The fantasy.
Yeah. Okay, I just wanna make sure we're covered in situations like that.
Yes, got you, sorry. I didn't-
No, it's okay.
Yes.
I was trying to
Yep,
be
I'm with you.
too. Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm good.
All right, any other questions or concerns, discussion?
Paul, what do you really, with this curriculum, what do you like about it?
That it's not digital. I view the text as an additional and different type of resource for students to learn from. Some kids like text, some kids may be going on a hunting trip for a week, there's no Wi-Fi. So to be able to work with that to give them opportunities to learn, they don't have Wi-Fi. A student this year who wasn't allowed to use electronics. So the book would be nice then as well. And then just, I try to teach the kids when you're finding information, that's obviously a big part of what we do is finding quality information. What are your sources? We get into, who's writing this, who's paying for this, the person who's writing this, what is their agenda? Do they have an agenda? Are there other reputable resources that support that information? Before we actually get into that. And so this is, in my view, is just another one of those. So, yeah. That's about it.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Great. Okay.
Thanks for hanging out an hour for us, Paul.
Yeah. Couple of minutes. We appreciate it.
Keep Logan for 20 minutes tomorrow.
But you can, I feel totally comfortable talking about this because I do it all the time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
If you guys, I have an embarrassing question box I bring out sometimes. So If you guys ever have any of those, feel free to email me on the download.
I was more just trying to not call out the other districts.
Now we have some new. Okay, we have some new business.
Did you,
Yeah.
Bill, did you see my email?
Yeah.
Can you read it?
Yeah,
I have a feeling I'm not the only one, there's like 50 people
I'm
on.
not 100% sure.
I got it too.
She says it's not her.
She didn't send it.
No, I just texted her and she said that.
If it's being worked on.
I don't know, but she specifically sent it, so.
Yeah, but
I
we
just-
have an email that went out that has been shared that shows, it says staff payroll, title staff payroll.
Yeah, looks like it's-
comparison
It looks like it's from you,
to
but it's
Creswell,
from
Brandy,
someone else.
and Brandy's sharing it out to everybody.
And I just text Brandy, she said it's not.
We're just listening to that. Right, technology, it's wonderful. All right, so let's just click along. I know people may have places to go, to the promotion, I know. New business, we have an action item.
I move to approve resolution 2425-02, adopting this year's budget or next year's budget.
All right, do we have any discussion following budget meeting last week? I think we all had a pretty good understanding of what's happening, so, all in favor? Thanks, motion carries. Next one.
Sorry, goes back. Okay, so the next one is, I move to approve resolution 2425-03, the 25-26 meal prices.
I second that.
Okay, there any discussion here? Don't know, I feel like we do this one every year, it's pretty standard. Just letting us know what the meal prices are. Anybody have any questions about that? All right, all in favor? Okay, motion carries, look at us go. Next one.
Let's see, I move to approve the resolution 25-04, board organization and annual business appointments.
I second that.
All right, any questions here? We don't have to read this resolution, do we? Okay, good. I think it looks similar to all the ones we've done in the past. Are there any changes here, Mike? Okay, all right. All in favor? All right, perfect, motion carries. Next.
Try quickly to move back and forth, but I don't really have to do that. Okay, I move to approve posting of the policies that are outlined in tonight's agenda.
Oh, Candace, you're not funny, I wanna read all those.
I don't.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor, or any discussion? Okay, all right. All right, all in favor. Motion. All right. Discussion, information, attention, and now. Can be closed. Is this you, Mike?
No, it's Joel.
Joel, okay. I was like, are you leaving or? I mean, doing, I'm like, he's running away.
Me adjourned.
I know.
Nature.
I know, I'm trying to get everybody up to be able to go to the thing if they wanna go. Ken, please.
Yeah, so, we had received six proposals, all local companies, Buy-in, Construction, also known as BCI on the street. That's kind of their logo on their. So they actually just recently did some work for 4J, so I had some really good recent, I talked with this project manager that they did a job for 4J, for a steel structure building actually, so, they did well there, and so, just want to share with you guys that our intent, we're negotiating contract agreement with them right now, but you, if in the pack, if you see my award to intent, that's a legal document that gets sent out, so people know that we're intending to award the contract with them. And we are past the official protest period, so nobody's protested it.
Perfect. All right, anybody have any questions for Joel? Okay, thank you, Joel. Our next item is the discussion regarding board evaluation, and I think that when we were in leadership, we were just discussing that I think over the summer. Joel sends us something so that we can do our board evaluation, so when we come back in after having our month off in either August or September, we can look at that. So I think that pretty much the discussion on that was just maybe like a notification that you shall be receiving an email.
Did you
To-
use the same instrument, same?
I think so, I think it
Okay,
worked
I'll
well.
just update the dates and years.
Yeah, that would be good. So, yeah, so be looking for that in your email and maybe we can, do something with that email.
So maybe if we could have it sent out like the last week of July or something,
Yeah,
and that'd give everyone.
and then we could,
2 weeks to
2
do
weeks
it.
to do it.
About 2 weeks. Well, my thought was
Well,
if
maybe get it sent out mid-July. Lacey wants a whole month.
I think a little bit more time. I don't check my email often
I
in the
know.
summer.
Well, I know, that's what I'm thinking, I'm like, when you send that email, is there a possible way to get Mike send us a text message maybe? Because I think that
Just a reminder.
he does
I
that
do
for
have
us.
some time off that I won't be doing things, so little
So
more
maybe like
notice
that,
would be
because
good.
sometimes that, like those emails get kind of
I get it.
lost with all the
Thank
other
you.
OSBA stuff, I think we all get, so. All right, so that is that, and our final action item for the evening would be the election of board officers. So I think historically, over the last few years, we have decided in June to do that so that they're prepared to take over office in August. And then I mean, I love doing this. This has been a great experience, but I'm excited to sit down there for a minute. So I think that at this point, we would do nominations to board chair and vice chair. And so I'm gonna go ahead and just nominate Candace for board chair.
I'll second.
All right.
I would like to nominate Mary for vice chair.
Oh, I'll second
Are you
that. Open to that?
I'll do that.
Sweet.
All right.
Excellent.
I'll second that.
Okay, Sarah seconded.
Okay, awesome. So all in favor of Candace for chair? Okay, motion carries. And then all in favor for Mary for vice chair? I have no idea if I did that, but
You did great.
I'm like, Right, so there we go. We have new leadership and, well, sprinkling in some new leadership.
Yep.
And I will resign to the end too. So next thing on our agenda is trustee reports. So Mike, do you wanna report on all the things that we all did?
Yeah, if you speed things up, one lady SD meeting, 2 union meetings, 2 graduations and a play.
Wonderful.
I thought that play was really good.
So I'm like,
For the comedy.
It's
mostly-
mostly comedy. My favorite part in the play was when they paused and started talking to Jones and everybody was like, wait, is this a part of the play or did they mess up? But it was, he
It's very
was even being funny, so
Yeah.
it was great.
Yeah, I thought he did a really good job with this. You can get my granddaughter to speak loudly and slowly enough for everybody to understand her. He's good.
I also went to the play, Malachi was in it, so that was super fun. He's never done theater before, but Jones convinced him that it needed to happen, so that was fun. I also hosted the CSPN election night at my house, which was actually a week-long event. The setup and the live streaming and all of the things as they announced the student body elections. That was actually really fun to support kids in doing that. I was at high school graduation and I went to the staff end of the year barbecue, which was kind of fun. Just to see all of the staff and get to talk to people. And and this is a plug for Elise. Tomorrow they're doing their field day, and if you guys want to come help serve hot dogs at the football field at 11:30, it's around noon. But I do this every year. Brandon Thacker will be on the grill, but you guys are welcome to come join. She wanted me to invite all of you if you're available. They're kind of putting together a last minute leadership class, so you too, Mike, if you want to come over and pass us some hot dogs. Elise would love to have you there.
Oh, okay.
Also tomorrow at 1:30, they're lining Oregon Avenue to take the state champions down Oregon Avenue, whether it be track and Chantel. So.
Yeah, that was
Perfect. Okay.
more track. I was working in Medford and I was like, oh, and I looked on my 360 and my niece was playing tennis a block away from my clinic that I was at. So I got to go to the Creswell tennis districts. And then when the boys made it to the second round of playoffs, I scheduled myself to work in Medford, so I could do an overnight down there, and I got to take a baseball game down there, that was fun. I missed high school graduation because I was at my nephew's graduation. I went to the middle school one, I had done
Barking.
oh yeah, I've done some bargaining, I have not done some bargaining, but I've done it. And helping organize some football stuff already, weird. Yeah. So weird, so weird. I don't know what else I've done.
Lazy. Unique things not already mentioned, IRC, of course, getting to, help the kindergarten finish their year is always a highlight for me. And then, the NHS induction, went to see one of the largest class get inducted into that, which is awesome. That was my kids interested in that.
Yeah, and you went to sports awards, cause I saw you there.
Yep.
I had our last softball games and senior night, sports awards, we had a leadership meeting. We all went to middle school promotion.
Policy.
It's on my list,
Oh.
policy committee. I also went to the drama play, which was a very fun play and the perfect amount of time. It was like a really good sweet spot of how long it was. Policy committee, and I read a lot of scholarship items for CEF to award senior scholarships, so. That's what I did.
Did a lot of things you guys did, but the only thing that I did that was different was I did go to the senior awards night at the high school. So. That's the only thing that I did that is different, so
Yes.
with all of that, a reminder that we do not come here in July. Enjoy. We don't come here.
Go somewhere, but not.
Go somewhere, but not here. But we will be back on August 13th at 6 p.m. And so